Hi Andrew, thank you for joining us today. Can you start telling me a little bit about you?
Sure. I've actually been doing Oracle for about 20 years. I started out in the financials area, moved up to a solution architect level, but I got involved with the EB tax module, and I was on one of the first Release 12 projects that came out, so I've been doing it a long time now. I've now moved to the point where I've set up Innovate Tax as a company, and all we do is specialize in EB tax, tax automation tools such as OneSource, Vertex, Sovos, or Avalara. But I'm also the chair of the Oracle Tax Management Special Interest Group, so I do a lot of presentations globally. I attend Oracle Open World, collaborate, as well as other events around the globe. So I'm really heavily involved with tax automation in Oracle.
We have a 5 and 0 tax rate. Surely the tax configuration should be easy.
Do you know what, that's a question we get asked a lot, and I think it's a real big misconception. If we look at 5% and a 0%, and let's first of all look at the 5%, which is the standard rate. In an ERP system, we need to break that down and actually show it as a standard rate in terms of normal purchases. But we also have to look at the recovery of that tax. Is it 100% recovery? Is it something like business entertainment that is 0% recoverable? What about companies that can only partially recover that tax? Is that tax deferred, or is it inclusive of VAT? So straight away, just from that 5%, we have 6 or 7 different types of rates. And if we look at the 0 rate, well, is that exempt? Is it 0 rated, or is it out of scope? There's a big difference between 0 rated or exempt. If a company is to sell primarily 0 rated products, that means they can recover their VAT. If they primarily sell exempt products, it means that they cannot recover the VAT. So this is a really important distinction to make. We then look at out of scope. Is it out of scope because it's a prepayment? Is it out of scope because it's an export, or that the company you're buying from is not registered for tax? So a solution where you think it's 0 or 5% actually ends up being about 25 different tax codes, because you need those for the reporting and the compliance.
Wow. So it's not as simple as it sounds then. What about the companies that have third-party applications that interface into Oracle?
So this is where we find the biggest challenge. A lot of these companies will have a third-party application that they designed, and at the time they designed it, they had no concept of VAT at all. Other applications that they will have VAT built in. So we need to look at these applications differently. The way that data interfaces into Oracle, is it going to AP, AR, GL, for example? So Oracle does not have the ability to import tax for GL interfaces. So how do we do that? Are you currently interfacing and consolidating your tax? Because if you are at the moment, and that transaction is just going through as one consolidated transaction line, now we have to split it by tax code. And if we look at the country like the United Arab Emirates, where they actually have to report by the emirate itself, then actually we may have to split the imported consolidated line, but not only the tax code of standard, but a tax code of standard linked to each of the emirates. So this is something that's really important to take into consideration, and this is why we need to start early on the projects, because we need to give plenty of time to our clients to be able to develop the in-house and third-party tax solutions that can then interface into Oracle.
Okay, let's change the subject slightly. You told me earlier today that companies should start their implementation now. But how this is possible without final VAT law being announced?
This is a great question, and in actual fact, I think a lot of companies that are expecting to get an impact assessment from their tax advisors at the moment are hoping to get information about how their tax should be set up. But the laws aren't announced yet, so they're not getting that information. So how can we do that? We just specialize in Oracle Indirect Tax. And we've been doing this now for 10 years, and we have over 120 countries that use VAT, GST, US sales and use tax, and we have a huge amount of experience. And out of those 120 countries, we've been able to create a solution that has been standardized, and we share many of the same logic and the actual rate names and conventions and everything else. So what we're doing is that we're bringing what we believe is going to be as the final solution, and we can implement that now. But it doesn't matter whether the tax code is 5%, 10% or 20%. It doesn't matter if the items that you're selling are zero rated or exempt or standard. What matters is that your system can calculate 5 or 10%. And it does matter that if the item that you're selling, that we can drive it as being exempt, or we can drive it from being zero rated. If we can test that now and we get the interfaces working, we can also then look at invoice printing. The idea is to get everything else that we need for the Oracle EB-Tax solution to work, and then when the final legislation is announced, if they then decide that certain items are now zero rated or standard, or if the tax rate is now 6%, that's easy. We can update the rules and the logic, and we'll update your solution, and therefore everything will be ready for go live. So we're doing most of the work up front to get everybody ready, and then when that final legislation is announced, we just correct our solution. And that's if we need to. We're fairly confident that we're going to have a very, very solid solution.
The EB-Tax Rapid Install tool sounds fantastic. What hardware or software will we need to implement? Is there any license fee?
So you're referring to our EB-Tax Rapid Install tool that we have. We've developed a product that allows us to do a very, very fast implementation. To give you an idea, we were able to implement 37 countries, and from start to ready for testing was just 3 days. We were able to do the entire project in just 4 months. So when it actually comes down to the implementation and with the tools that we have, we can do a very, very fast implementation. But it's not a third-party bit of software that we're actually installing on your system. There's no hardware, there's no software, there's no licensing costs. This is a tool that we've developed that will help us implement the solution on your system very, very quickly. So once that solution is installed on your system, there's no additional cost for you. We do provide a support and maintenance, but ultimately that product is yours with no additional licensing fees, and it is not a separate product. It is all installed in Oracle using standard Oracle configuration. So it's the best option for all the companies that we work with.
Do you have any other products for tax that you have developed?
Yes, we do. We're very passionate about what we do. All we do is tax automation on Oracle. And along with the EB-Tax Rapid Install that I've just spoken about, we've also developed an enhanced VAT reporting solution that we developed for the European market initially, but we've now rolled that out, and we use it in Malaysia, in India, and across any VAT and GST country. But we've also developed a product called the Tax Compliance Manager. And this product has actually won us the Innovator of the Year award from the International Tax Review 2 years in a row. So we're very, very proud of our achievements in this area, and the fact that we're always looking to innovate and to always move forward with the solutions that we have to help our clients, not only to implement the solution, but to be able to process the data and submit their tax returns in the most efficient possible manner.